Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to VidaneTV Championship Night Big Fight Feel. We're going to be doing some short track racing. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. Ashton Reekley alongside me as well. And Ashton, we've got company up here in the booth.
Yes, we do. We have the Triple Crown champion. Again, that was one of the races that completed last week, and that champion is Tegan Atkins. Tegan, congratulations on a big championship. It's not the complete championship, but it certainly means something with the Triple Crown.
Oh yeah, it definitely means something. I was there at the beginning, first couple races there and run for the full championship, but I've kind of fallen back away from, first and second. And it was pretty cool to get the Triple Crown win.
Absolutely, it was one. It wasn't exactly easy necessarily, as you had some contenders in that battle with you. But like you said, you made it a points race and you came out on top. And going into this race, being a champion, do you feel like you might have a little bit of a target on your back?
I don't think so. Me and Casey kind of battled it out in the Oxford race for. 1 second, I got talking in the chat. Me and Casey kind of talked after the race, and we both had our issues in last week's race. I just was trying to stay with him the whole race. I knew I couldn't finish too far behind him or in order to get the championship. And I blew a left rear tire with about 25 laps to go, and I thought I was done for. And 10 laps to go, I heard leader on pit road, and that was probably the biggest relief ever.
Absolutely. So, what's the game plan going into the final race here tonight? Are you hunting for this championship also, or is it more or less just try and get all the points you can and have a good race?
Probably just try to get all the points I can. I know I'm not going to get the championship. I'm about 80 points out of first. Just try to keep it in one piece. And I won my heat race, so that was a pretty good start.
Yeah, you beat me to the next question. I was about to say you won your heat race, so it's put you in a solid position to start at least. Who are you watching for here? Is there anybody specifically that you're looking out for that you feel you're going to have to chase, or is it more or less just the whole field?
Just the whole field, really. Just stay away from all the wrecks and try to keep it in one piece, keep going.
We have about 3.5 minutes left to go. I'm going to let you get your suit back on, get the helmet back on, and maybe run some warm-up laps. But even if you don't get out there on track to run some laps, you got a car to get ready for the big race tonight. And I want to wish you good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you again at the end of the night.
Yeah, I hope so. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Awesome, sounds good. And again, good luck. And Paul, that's going to set up a really big race here tonight. We're in the situation now where it's coming down to the last few points. I know our top two in points are quite close. Third place, I believe, was Tegan Atkins that we were just talking to. He feels like he's out of it, but we all know that anything can happen. I mean, we saw it last week with some late pit stops and guys running out of fuel and tire issues and so on and so forth. So I wouldn't say he's out of it completely, but as you see him out on track there, I would say he's still got a chance. Anybody's got a chance if you're in the top three.
For sure, anything could happen in short track racing, real racing, sim racing, wherever you may end up. Heck, we saw that happen this past weekend with the NASCAR Cup Series in the Clash. You had Ryan Blaney didn't even qualify in. He had some kind of issue with the oil pan. He got in the feature event with the points provisional, because he finished second in the points last year, ended up finishing second in the race after starting dead last. And we've seen stranger things happen here on VidaneTV. We've seen stranger things happen with this Fast1 Late Model Nationals group here as well. It's been kind of an up and down season. It's been a little bit rocky throughout sorts, but man, oh man, these guys have been putting on a heck of a show, usually on Wednesday nights. We had some scheduling conflicts here the past couple of weeks, but we still got the show in, got our reps in, and about 2 minutes left for the final warm-up here of the season, and you can see Tegan Atkins, their Triple Crown champ, fifth click right now as he crosses the stripe, and that racetrack looks very, very loose.
It is, and I was mentioning it earlier on as we were watching practice. We were standing down on pit road, you and I, and watching the cars come out of the corners. They were all sorts of sideways, and at one point I said, it looks like the high line isn't really coming around for these guys. And then we got to the heat races, and Shannon got up to the top and made a race out of it. And then now I'm watching these warm-ups, and it almost looks like guys have moved up into the second lane. So they're making a fool out of me by saying that. But this track is starting to widen out. That high side is all about momentum. The low side is the fastest way around. You get that car arc down to the bottom. Just missed that exit of pit road wall. You'll see guys tap it all night long. That's the fast line. It's the fast line in real life, and it's the fast line just as much here. So it's certainly going to make it interesting, but the track does seem very, very slick tonight.
Absolutely. And just going over some of the last minute notes here from race director Nick Mumley jumping on board about mid-season here tonight. 150 laps on the docket here, Five Flags Speedway here. And it's going to be, well, we had the same qualifying procedure as we did last week at Oxford. We had some qualifying to set up the heat races, had ourselves some heat races, and well, it looks like everybody made the show. Not a light field by any stretch of the imagination. We're pushing 20 cars here tonight, and realistically, you and I have had the discussion with sim racing and short track racing. 20, 25, that's almost a sweet spot.
It really is. I mean, it's always nice to hear, you got 30 or 40 cars and you might have to send some home. It really kind of shows that there's a lot of interest in the league, but sending guys home is never fun. So we've always said that sweet spot is in that, 20 to 25 range, and that's what this league has been getting all year. And they've put on some really good shows. You get your regulars towards, the top half of the field. But there's always one that kind of surprises us that we enjoy seeing the underdog come up and do some competing in these races. So it's really cool to see those guys come up when there's a big pack like this of 20 cars.
2 sets of tires down on pit road. No quick repairs here this evening. So you got what you got. And as we wrap up that final warm-up here of the season, we'll take a quick peek here at the starting lineup. And there you see it, Matt Huntington with the final pole of the season on his outside. Going to be the number 10 of Casey Biotti.
Right behind them in the second row. Starting in third is Caden Fisher in the 18, fourth JD Stockwell. Right on behind them in the third row in fifth and sixth are Carson Colby and Luke Shannon.
Luke Shannon quick there in the final practice before we got into the heat races. Jarvis Sawtile in the 17 going to roll off P7. Bob Eldred quick all season in that 15 car. He's going to roll off P8. Scott Rochford and Tegan Atkins. We saw him win his heat race. Going to round out the top 10. Jake Grout, Justin Prescott going to roll off 11th and 12th.
Right behind them, starting 13th and 14th, you got Jacob Roy in the 11, 14 of Kyle Goodbout in the 17, 38 of Tyler Cahoon in the 15th position, 16th going to Kyler Davis in the 6 car, 17th is going to be change my screen on Chris Terrian in the 5 car, and in the 18th position, the 55 of Brian Harborough.
And rounding out the field is going to be the 8 car of Connor Haddock. So just shy of 19 cars here this evening at Five Flags Speedway. And that's in the state that I'm actually currently in right now. I got to tell you, Ashton, it's just 4 times warmer here in Florida than it is in southern Connecticut.
Yep, rub it in. That's fine. That's fine. I am eating a nice warm poutine with curds cheese right now.
Listen here, mister, I'm going to charge you 25% for that.
I'm not actually, but I needed some kind of comeback.
All lined up 2 by 2 all the way through. The iRacing Pace Car Mustang has the lights off. Look at all the rubber buildup already on that outside line. You can bet that is going to play a factor here in tonight's championship fight. Big fight feel here this evening. That Mustang Pace Car going to take that hard left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road, and we're going to take the green flag for the final time here tonight. 150 laps on the docket. We are green.
We are green, and a great start by all the field there, side by side on the front row. They did not disappoint on that restart. They took off at the exact same time. They're still side by side going into 3 and 4. Great look at the entry right there. The cars almost look like they're askewed and sideways getting into those corners. It's just the banking. It's the way these cars enter these corners. So you can see nice tight down to the wall. On the inside there is the bright green number 45 working on the white and red 45. Here we go again with the 45s.
Pair of 45s usually running together. Pair of 17s usually running together as well. Front five, almost 6 cars. Single file. There's a quick time there for Caden Fisher, 17.594 with 148 laps to go. And I have a feeling, Ashton, once we get through some of these opening laps here, these drivers kind of get used to the cars, used to the track, and used to everybody that's running around them. I think those lap times are going to get quicker and quicker as we get into the evening.
And as you say that, another quick time put up by Casey Beatti. He's really working at the inside line there. You can see he's lower than the leader right now, Caden Fisher. Just trying to work that inside. Looks like Caden's going to kind of give him the bottom and say, you know what, you want to go out there and run some hot laps, go for it. We're going to try and save some gear. Casey's not usually one to give up the lead to this early on in the race. We don't want him running away with it too early on. But right behind him in their tire tracks, JD Stockwell and the champion, the guy we just talked to, the Triple Crown champion, Keegan Atkins, already has his nose into the action, and he, I believe, started back in 10th.
Just about triple wide. 3 wide there for the lead. JD Stockwell thinks better of it. He's going to tuck into the tire tracks there of Beatti, who has the lead by about a nose. But man, oh man, Caden Fisher holding tough up on that high side. Usually we have to get 20, 30 laps. We have to get some heat into the racetrack, heat into the tires to get that high line to come in. But I don't know, man. It seems like it's holding tough right now. And Beatti's going to take over the lead. JD Stockwell in that 45 car going to try and take second.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming in a lot quicker than I thought, and I think the heat races and the amount of practice these guys put down. There's guys here early on getting some laps down when the track opened, so I think that's kind of helping the situation. The track temperature has come up already. I think that's where we're not used to seeing it. Again, the warmer temperatures here today. The sun's out, clear skies. It's one of those situations that the track's already warm, so the outside, the whole track's already available to these guys. To a certain point, you mentioned earlier, all the rubber already built up on the high side and the low side. So there's a very thin lane, 2 lanes there, and if they can keep those between, if they can keep the cars between those rubber piles, they should have a fast race car. But the inside and the outside already working really well.
What do they call that in the boating world? Keeping it between the buoys?
I mean, you could consider them a bunch of little buoys.
I guess you could, yeah.
They're sitting on top of, right? It's like a buoy that sits on top of water.
Yes, but we don't have any rain and we don't have any sailboat fuel on the racetrack, so we're in good shape there. But there is a lot of rubber buildup here, and I'm not sure if it's this racetrack, this race, or the fact that I've got a 55-inch monitor that I'm actually able to watch the race on as I'm producing. It's not very often I get to use a big screen like this, and made mention down here in Florida, Casa de Hogue, the co-founder of VidaneTV, gracious enough to let me use the spare bedroom this week, and he's going to be joining us on the call here. I think he's wrapping up the football game, but he'll join us here at one point or another, give us a little insight on this thing we like to call short track racing. The front 4, though, have pulled away. They're almost nose to tail. That 5th place car of the 77 of Rochefort holding on to what little bit of draft you get at this short racetrack. And then you can see it's a big gap on back to the battle for 6th.
That battle for 6th is heating up. And I mean, it's the battles up front. They're kind of separated, but they're not, they're in 2x2s, but the 14 working on the back of the 17 was something I was watching earlier on also. He was right up tucked into the back bumper of the 17. 17 now kind of pulling away of Jarvis Sotile. He's making ways. He's half a lane up, and I think that's what helped him earlier on. Ooh, 14 hard into the outside wall. A little bit of contact from behind from the 6 of Kyler Davis. I think they're going to keep it all straight. The 14 might have wrapped it around. Another car up into the outside wall. This track is getting tricky. It's getting a little hot. The tires are getting hot and they're falling off. And I think that's what you're starting to see. Guys are starting to get up into the outside wall, trying to use a lot more of the racetrack. And sadly, there's walls on the inside and the outside. So you can't make the track wider than it already is.
Outside of the racing groups, the race official's going to let him eat a little bit of a slide there for the 3rd place car, JD Stockwell. And we've mentioned his name quite a bit throughout the winter months. He's run 3 of the 4 weekly series here that we've covered on VidaneTV, and it seems like he's almost always in the top 5, definitely in the top 10. So JD Stockwell in that bright green and black number 45, no difference here tonight, running in third, trying to track down that 18 car of Fisher up in front of him. They're all trying to track down that 45 car of Biotti, and one of the things we really have to keep a close eye on is the championship battle. Casey Biotti doing everything he needs to do right now to get maximum points. He came in tonight second place with 456 points. Kyler Davis, he's back in the 8th position in that 6 car. He's got 474, so about 18, 20 points or so, depending on how bad my math was just then, separating first and second. With 20 cars here tonight, you got to be on top of your game if you're one of those top 2 drivers.
Absolutely, and we just made mention that Kyler Davis, a little bit of contact on the nose there after the car in front of him, which I believe was the 17 or the 14, sorry, got into the wall, and he was kind of just there. It wasn't a lot of impact, just jacked up the 14 and got him sideways. It doesn't look like there's too much damage to the nose of that car, and it looks to be handling just fine. So keep an eye on him to make his way up towards the front of the field. You know, still 128 laps to go, so long time to go. He's always been one to save, so I don't count him out just yet. Still some pit stops to run through, and I'm sure I'll knock on wood, but I'm sure there's going to be a yellow at one point. So I don't count the 6 out just yet.
25 laps into this one. Once we cross the stripe, Biotti still out front. Fisher in second, Stockwell, Atkins, and Rochford, the top 5. Good bout. Suttile, Davis, Prescott, and Shannon, the top 10 as they run. 18, 19 cars started this race. All 19 still on the lead lap. Carson Colby having some issues in that 14 car, but he was able to grab a gear, get pointed again. We stayed green, and he's still able to hold on to that lead lap, but you can kind of see him there off in the distance there on the left-hand side of your screen. He may be in danger of going a lap down here in a couple of laps.
He is, and that's kind of shocking. It's early on in this race to be already going down, as you see a car down on pit road already. So just some handling issues to struggle earlier on in this race, and hopefully he can kind of bounce back from that.
And you can see the 45 are already pulling away just a little bit from that 18 car. And the 18 seems like he's kind of moved up the track just a little bit at that time by. Of course, he's going to jump down on the apron and call me a liar, but doing everything he can to try and stay, well, in front of and behind both of those 45 cars.
Yeah, and another car that I just recently kind of looked over to the timing and scoring that I've got up here. Luke Shannon had set fast times not only in qualifying but in practice, and in his heat he ran second. So I'm not sure if they just missed the race setup and the qualifying setup was a lot stronger, or if the long runs is what's killing him. But he's dropped all the way back to 10th, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like he's stuck on the outside right now. The 13 down on the bottom side, or Luke Shannon rather in the 13. Well, there's a pair of 13s. Man, if we were playing poker right now, we would have a very solid hands. I think we've got 3 pairs.
We do. We absolutely do. What is a royal flush? It goes to show that I don't play too many card games. But
Flush, I think, is all of the face cards of the same suit.
Well, we got all the same race cars.
Well, they're not the same color, though.
Oh, darn.
They got to be the same color. Like, they would all have to be spades, or they'd all have to be hearts, or they'd all have to be the other 2 clubs. What's the other one? Diamonds.
I don't know. They all have hearts. They're all driving race cars. They all have a heart.
That they do.
I'm stretching it real far to get this.
18 car still holding on to it. And you can see he's trying to change that lineup just a little bit to see if he can kind of gain a little bit of momentum on the leader. We'll ride on board. Bright red gloves there. Kind of matches the tape there on the steering wheel. That's actually pretty cosmetically pleasing. He's going to try and catch up to that 45 car, sawing on that wheel there in the corners, getting after it, trying to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. And as you can see there off in the horizon, there's some lap traffic coming up, and that lap traffic is running side by side.
They are, and I can't believe how much sawing at the wheel he's actually doing. I really thought it's been a while since I've been in a late model at this racetrack, but the entry to that corner he has that car all sorts of sideways and bouncing and loose and right, left, and then it finally hooks up and sticks, and he's able to drive out of the corner. But really cool to see that these guys aren't just sitting back and relaxing. He's still trying to chase down that leader, and he's working real hard to do it.
And it's still early yet. 115 laps to go here in this one. The racetrack, nice and spread out. There's not really too many real close side-by-side battles. Everybody kind of biding their time right now. But as you made mention, we end up getting a quick caution here, or a couple of cautions, as we've seen here in the past on VidaneTV. It'll heat things right back up. But what this does with those two sets of tires for each of these teams down on pit road is it kind of gives us an opportunity to potentially have some pit road strategy. These guys know they have to come down at least one time to grab themselves some Sunoco race fuel, but they're going to want some Hoosier tires on these late models as well. And do you take 2? Do you take 4? Or do you just try and wing it and just come down for fuel?
So here's the next question: is how long does it take to take tires at this racetrack, and with the crews that they have, and how much time are you going to be on pit road compared to the lap times under green? Under yellow, I wouldn't be overly concerned. I'd be taking 4 tires and fill that thing as full as you could possibly get it. But under green, it's almost you're almost forced to take only right sides and just get as much fuel into it as possible. But is that going to be enough fuel to make it to the end of the race? So there's a lot to diagnose. And as a crew chief and a car chief, I don't want to be that guy that has to make that decision.
Yeah, it takes a long time to change a set of tires there. You can see the 45 car, Biati, has caught that lap traffic, and it looks like he's going to get around the number 5 there of Christarian, put him 1 lap down. Carson Colby in the 14 car are going to be the next victim. As you can see, the 8 car going to come down to pit road for Connor Haddock. So I wonder if he's already thinking about that fuel strategy, about that tire strategy here with 110 laps to go.
Yeah, and again, I wasn't. One of the questions I forgot to ask when I was down there on pit road was how much fuel they have, how many laps of fuel that they have now. Prior notes in the late models tells me that they have approximately 90 laps of fuel. So again, I believe the 8 car would be a little short on the fuel run unless he's banking on some yellows, which again, highly possible. He'd only be about 8 laps short or so. So he would be able to make it if he got a couple of yellows, but that's also maybe a tire strategy. He knew he was about to go a lap down. Might as well come down, grab some tires, maybe get some fresh tires on there and be able to keep up with the leaders and eventually unlap yourself or catch the lucky dog. As right now it looks like he would be the first one a lap down. And nope, I guess he wouldn't be as Biati decides to put another car a lap down. So that's who your lucky dog would be. But certainly a lot of strategies are going to come into play tonight.
Yeah, that 8 car actually still on pit road now for 1:08, 1:09, 1:10 seconds. I think there's some damage on that 8 car. It does take a long time to change the tires here on these late models, but not over a minute. But I do have to say, that was one of the most entertaining things about the Clash, the Cup race this past weekend, when they came down for those pit stops under that 100 lap 100 caution. They didn't have the Cup pit crews down there. They had, whoever they could find. They threw some jackets. Everybody's in great big puffy jackets because it was cold, and they're just kind of taking their time with changing the tires, making sure everything is on and ready to rock and or roll. And that's kind of how you get down with short track racing. You get out to the track, you don't necessarily have the tools that you need, but you make it work.
You don't also like the good old short track racing is you don't have a team of 20 guys on pit road either, right? It could be mom and pop, uncle and brother and sister are your team, and they're not trained pit stop professionals. So that was always the fun in short track racing. Running for your buddies and changing a tire for them and getting them back out there adds to the excitement. But we've all done that. I know you made mention of the rent a race car that you were involved in a couple of years back, and I'm sure it was very similar to that.
Oh, absolutely. And still working with those guys. Been working with Run a Race Car for a decade and a half now at Stafford Speedway. They actually rent out street stocks each and every Friday night. The main event shows at Stafford Speedway, and they're doing it again this season. Just built their website. That's right, VidaneTV does websites. So if you need one, it's getting close to race season. Slide in our DMs. We will hook you up like a tow truck for sure. You shoot on over to rentaracecar26.com. Check out that website and get in touch with Gary. Gary's a good friend of mine, one of my best friends. Known him for a very long time, and he's a good dude, but he's not very bright because he let somebody like me behind his race car.
I mean, I could see you as a full-time NASCAR participant.
I would like to be a full-time NASCAR participant. That'd be pretty fun.
I like how you use the hooking them up like a tow truck, and the first thing that came to mind was Towmater.
Yes, Towmater, and then the guy from Boondock Saints that I can't remember his name.
I feel like if you're gonna use that line, you need to work on your Towmater voice.
Well, see, it's tough to work on a Towmater voice because it's a fake voice from a fake guy that's doing a fake accent. So I don't know.
But if you can nail it, that'd be great.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah.
97 to go here in this one. Carson Colby, the first car, 1 lap down in the number 10 car, or number 14 car, rather. He's in the 13th spot, so still 12 on the lead lap. Casey Biotti pulling away by, well, quite a bit. He's got a bit of breathing room in front of and in behind him, so he's got smooth sailing right now, doing everything he can to essentially try and win this championship. But as you can see, Kyler Davis pulling himself up into the 5th position. So he came in as the points leader, so he's going to try and do everything he can to keep that 45 car in sight.
Yeah, and that's all he's has to do at this point, right? There's not much more he can do other than just try and keep him in his sights, because there's no the only way to beat him is to pass him, and the only way to pass him is to get to him. So he's doing everything he can, and I mean, Casey's been doing everything he can from race 1. I know he's not leading the points per se, but he certainly put on a hell of a season, and he's been doing very well in the last few weeks. A lot of podium finishes.
Indeed, we are quick since day 1-ish. Put it on a t-shirt. At least write it down on a sticky note for sure. Speaking of wrestling segues, who am I cutting the check to for tonight's show? Is it Wes Hogue, or is it going to be Cole Bohannon?
It's the if I may cut in, it's the Love Alive Charity Tag Team Champion.
Well, let's go. One half of the tag team champions in the booth here tonight. Wes Hogue, co-founder of VidaneTV. Did you just get out of the hot tub?
I actually just popped into the hot tub, Paul. Just got done kicking some tail in NCAA, and we actually have a wreck as I'm coming in here off of turn 2. There's one car around, just rudely interrupting me.
Because
it's one car around.
It's because you got water on the racetrack.
That's that sailboat fuel, I'm telling you. You might be onto something with that.
First yellow is out with 90 to go here at in Pensacola at the Five Flag Speedway. I shocked that it came out for who it came out for, as this guy was on a mission and he was really moving his way forward. I'm shocked that this is what we have a yellow for, but nonetheless, it's going to rack and stack the field. There's going to be a lot of guys down pit road.
That there is. You can see that 17 car going to go down there as well. All of the leaders are down there, 60 laps into this one. This puts you right in that 90-lap window you were talking about earlier for fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys are going to do, whether they take 4 tires, 2 tires. We talked about how long it takes to change tires on these late models in sim racing and in real racing. So we'll see who comes out on top. And it looks like, was that the 8 car or the 13 car? That was Bob Eldred.
Yeah, that was Bob Eldred coming out early. I'm going to say that was a 2-tire stop for Bob Eldred.
11.1 on the stopwatch. 2 tires for the 15 of Bob Eldred. He's going to take over the lead. Casey Biotti, Kyle Goodbout, Kyler Davis, and Scott Rouchford here in the top 5 as they come off pit road. 88 laps to go. I think we're good to go on fuel from this one. And I got to tell you, it's a good thing that we haven't had too many cautions, because the U-House Instant Replay button box that I've been bragging about here the couple of weeks, I forgot to pack it, and I don't remember how to do the replays manually.
I was wondering that because I was over here on the other side of the booth going, where's our U-House Racing Designs replay? And yeah, I completely forgot that the booth is separated and a couple miles away for you.
Couple miles away. We can call it that. Lights off in the iRacing Mustang pace car. A little bit jumbled up there in the back, but they're going to get the running order sorted on out there. We might take ourselves one more lap under caution. That looks like we're going to get it all sorted up. Now, Wes, it's been a minute since you and I have called a race together. I'm going to let you call this restart, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. As that iRacing Mustang heads down pit road, the leader fires off a turn 4, and we are back green at Five Flags Speedway as the field rolls through 1 and 2. Still 2 by 2. We're about 4 rows deep before we have a little bit of separation as the 13 drives it down with the 45 on the outside, holding strong and clears them off turn 4.
Putting those 2 tires to work on the 13 car. He's able to get around the 45 of Biotti, and you can see there's a little bit of breathing room on back to the other 17 car. Kyle Goodbout there in third, Rufford and Fisher now the top 5 as they run. And how hard do you push if you're the 13 car? Do you try and hold on to that lead, or do you try and kind of stay in the top 5 here?
Paul, if it's me, I'm pushing 100% of the time, especially at Five Flags Speedway, but I understand the situation here. I see green flag runs being long. Usually, cautions come pretty frequently here at Five Flags, but these guys are doing a wonderful job keeping the cars pointed in the right direction. So, man, I'm going to push it because you don't want to wait too long, let these guys get away from you, and then it's too late.
Especially if we've got a long green flag run like we started the show here tonight. And Ashton, this has been fun all season long with these guys. We have had a couple of caution-filled races, but we've had some long green flag runs here as well, and it really gives these guys kind of an opportunity to flaunt the strategy just a little bit.
We had for sure early on in the season, we had a couple guys, a couple races, that just weren't following that right way. With the first race was a short track. Second race we did quite well. Bigger track, more room to move, and then it just again we went back to a short track. So short tracks are always hard to tame. It's one of those deals, and cautions breed cautions. We talk about it all the time, and then you get to a track like this where it was made a point that you kind of got to go full out all the time at a track like this. You've got the room to do it. You've got the space to do it. And you don't want the guys to get away. And that's exactly what we see with the 2 leaders here up front. Bob Eldred only took 2 tires. So Casey's right on his tail tank, and he's trying to make that pass because he knows not far behind him is Kyler Davis, still sitting in 8th position. He's trying to chase him down. He's doing all he can. And he's running very similar and a little bit quicker, actually, Kyler Davis is on the lap times. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And because of that, as you can see, Casey's kind of making that move to the bottom side already. He's looking to take over that lead again and get away from the pack.
And you can see that 13 car up on the high side of Bob Eldred has a little bit of damage there on the right front. But it's still holding tough, side by side between he and Biotti. But how long is he going to be able to hold on with those 2 tires? It looks like maybe another lap or 2. He's going to come back on the outside. Look at the run he gets. If that was the checkered flag, this race would be going to the 13.
Yeah, I can't believe the run he's getting with 2 tires. This is doing one of 2 things. If we have a late race caution, it's showing guys that 2 tires might actually work for a short run. If it's a 10-lap run or so. He's able to hold on, and he's able to hold on the outside of all things.
Indeed.
This battle, Paul, this battle for the lead is actually really impressive, especially here at Five Flags, running those 2 tires. Seeing Eldred be able to hold it off for as long as he can, and he's still there at his right rear. He's just, at this point, Casey's just going to get frustrated. And he showed a lot of patience here. If it was me, I would have ran him up the track by now. But these guys are running super clean here at Five Flags. And we're coming around the 73 to go. This battle for the lead heats up. And I am really impressed with Bob here. Only on 2 tires. We're about 10, 15 laps into this run. Still holding strong. And take note, with him being able to hang it out on the high side here, he's wearing Casey's tires out as well. He's having to cut down in that corner and cut off the exit sooner than he would like, and he's wearing his tires. So interesting strategy here as they almost touch coming off of 4.
And one of the things to really take a look at that's also impressive, no mean to cut you off there, they're still running side by side. They have been for 8, 9, 10 laps. They're pulling away from third place Kyle Goodbow. You can see just how big that gap is getting between second and third place. A little bit of a slip up there for Bob Eldred.
And I was going to mention, Paul, that he made a good point about that outside line running so solid. Long, I don't want to say long run, but 15 laps into this, it's also surprising. You had said that you would have moved up the track and kind of pinched him, but Bob hasn't moved down the track to take off to try and cut him further down to the inside either. Both of these guys are giving each other a lot of respect and a lot of room, and it's making for some really good racing.
It really has, and looks like this battle is almost over. But man, again, I'm thoroughly impressed. As Paul, you just mentioned, they're pulling away from third place, running side by side. Usually at a short track like this, or honestly most tracks, if you're going to run side by side, that gives the car behind you an opportunity to gain some ground and get up on you. And just watching these cars, both of them are handling quite well. Looks like the 45 might be a little loose on entry, but that's kind of helping him through the center and exit to roll through. And that 13 on the outside, Bob just has that thing hooked up. Everything looks smooth, little loose there coming off a 2, but he's still able to hold that right rear base just barely, Paul, not giving the 45 that line. It looks like he may clear him now. He may have him off of turn 2.
He's going to stick up on that high side, though, in that 13. He has such a run coming off of turn 2 and turn 4. There you can see he gets right back up to the bumper. One of the things I'm curious about is what happens if that 13 car gets to the bottom. Is he good up on the high side because of the damage, because of the 2 tires, or is it just because that's where he is? If he gets down on the bottom side, he might have a little bit more of an advantage. He's trying to take it back on the high side, though. He's getting up to his door, Ashton.
He is, and I don't think there's much of an advantage of him diving down to the bottom. That's why you haven't seen him go down there yet. He might now that he knows he's fully clear. You see him try and do the crossover, but the 2 tires on the outside are less pressure on those tires. So I really do think that the high side is where he is going to want to be preferred. If you notice, the 45 of Casey decided he was going to go to the top side. So he saw the 13 and said, you know what, you hung with me for that many laps on the outside. Let me see if there's something up there for me so I can get away from that. And it's exactly what he's doing, about half a lane up, moving down. You see a car down on the inside on the backstretch there, just a single car, nose to the inside wall. They're going to keep it green, keep it rolling. And this battle sorted itself out, but I don't think it's fully over yet.
What I'm interested in is seeing how the tires are now on that 45 machine of Casey Beatte, just because of how long they had to battle side by side. As we see the car that was stuck on the inside now making its way down pit road. Wasn't exactly to see who that is, but they are off the track safely, so we do stay green. But I'm curious to see how his tires are. And as you guys made point, watching how well the 13 was able to hold the outside there, that can raise a question in your head. Maybe there's something up there that I can run a little bit faster with now that they are single file. As we see further back in the field, a battle. Believe Paul, I believe that is the 04. And who's our lime green machine there? The 45.
That's going to be J.D. Stockwell there in the 45. The 04 of Justin Prescott side by side behind that 18 car of Fisher. Fisher was up in second place before that yellow flag, before that caution. Looks like they had a little bit of a longer pit stop down there on pit road. Put him back in the running order just a little bit. Going to try and battle his way back into the top 5. But right now, Ashton, this second half of the top 10, it's getting pretty spicy.
It is, and in amongst all that, just in front of that pack that we're looking at right now, is the second place point leader. That is Kyler Davis, who's trying to make a run to the front here, still stuck back in 8th. He's working hard, and he's running some really good lap times. If you're watching along with the Wingnut Production scoring, he's working it, but he just doesn't seem to have the pace that the leaders have between Bob Eldred and Casey. Who just blew the doors off the guys on that restart and took off. But he's kind of stuck up behind JD and Justin. Caden Fisher's kind of in that battle also. And another one that's kind of fallen back a little bit is Tegan Atkins. He's back in 10th. Still working it, really trying to get back up there. I know he made mention earlier that he felt like he didn't really have a chance to win this the big championship after winning the Triple Crown championship. He kind of just said he was going out to run the race and get the points and hopefully at least finish in the top 3 in the championship points.
Back up front, our battle is still on. We have Bob Eldred and Beatty. They have about a second and a half lead on the third place car here. And back battling as we see the 13 has regained the lead on those 2 tires. He has got around the 45 of Casey Beatty as Casey back on the bottom here, getting aggressive. Neither one of these guys are willing to back down. We still have 55 laps to go. We talked just a little bit ago. Do you take it easy? Do you go hard? Obviously, neither one of these guys are trying to save anything here. This 1345 putting on a show, and again, doing so, that third place machine of Kyle Goodbout is not catching. They're still pulling from him.
Did you see how high the 13 took exit of that corner? He's almost up on the dotted line on exit of 3 and 4, and the run he gets down the front straightaway is impressive. Look at how high he's almost in the marbles up there. But look at the run he gets coming into 1 and 2.
I feel like he found something up there. It seems to be helping him stay on the outside in battle here in 1 and 2. He keeps that about that second lane. Looks like he does it off of 3 and 4 here. Looks like he's going to keep it a little lower, not yet in the marbles, but I think he had a point there. I think that was helping him on exit. Maybe it was hurting a little bit more than he wanted to through the center, but nonetheless, great battle here, side by side for the lead.
The only thing I can notice is that when he's exiting that high, it's allowing the 45 of Casey to be able to run up there. You made mention earlier about pinching each other up or down, and that's allowing the 45 to kind of roll out of 3 and 4 and also keep up his momentum. Still not enough, it seems, to fully complete the pass on the 13, but it is giving him a little bit more wiggle room.
You know, they're racing like it's championship night. These guys are just racing each other hard. Now, here comes a wild card. We do have that slower car we saw off the track a little earlier. He will be the lap car here, that number 11 machine. How are they going to navigate around him? Is he just going to pull over, Paul? But great camera work here, man. Even though you're hanging out at the house for the week, you're doing a great job on the mobile broadcast station here. Paul, you've seen these guys race week and week again. Does the 11 pull over here, or does he make it hard on him?
Well, right now the 11's he's multiple laps down, struggling with the handling, as they say, on that green and blue number 11 machine. I think he's just going to get out there, make some laps, and see if they can learn anything for next season. I already talked to the boss man, Kaysen, about next season. Going to more than likely happen. Got it all penciled in, and we'll have some more information on that on all the social media outlets. I am still impressed with these guys. They've been side by side since we took the restart there multiple laps ago. It's, as we look at the timing and scoring here from Wingnut Productions, 43 laps in this run, and these guys have been side by side for the 13 of Bob Eldred. He was able to take an opportunity to get down to the bottom side and make that pass, but we're going to get a quick caution here in this one.
Man, Ashton, I really hope that doesn't take away from the racing we just saw. It's almost like that 2 tires that the 13 machine took, that helped incorporate into the racing we saw. That was some really, really good racing here at Five Flag Speedway. I'm not sure who they're going to give the lead to. Looks like the 13 of Bob Eldred will be your leader, but we do have a caution on the track. Trying to summarize what happened here, we haven't found it yet. Must have been something a little bit smaller. As we see the field coming down pit road here at Five Flag Speedway, the race off of pit road is on.
It absolutely is, and the concern is for the 45 of Casey Beatty. If that 13 takes 4 tires, how much faster is he going to be? Because he only took 2. Well, we assume he only took 2 by the box time on that last time around. I can see cars jacked up already, and it looks like, again, Bob Eldred is going to pull out on a 12-second stop again and only took 2 tires. But in saying that, Casey also did the same thing. So a big 2-tire game right here. The first guy to take 4 tires looks like it's going to be Caden Fisher. Other than Matt Huntington, who looks like he either stayed out or had a really fast pit stop at 20.3 and still came out first. But nonetheless, it's a 2-tire game now. There's only 43 laps to go.
With only 43 laps to go, we're going to see if maybe the wick is turned up a little bit. Let's see if these guys get a little bit more aggressive, see more 2-tire stops. if we get another quick caution, it wouldn't surprise me if the field comes down, we see more two-tire stops to try to gain that advantage over 4, especially, Paul, seeing how long it takes. 4 tires, it takes so long. My first marriage ended quicker than that, and that was a blink of an eye.
I didn't know you for the first marriage, but I knew you for the second marriage for sure. 99 car going to give up that lead. Matt Huntington, he did elect to stay out, didn't come down pit road. There you can see the free pass car going to go down and around. I believe that's going to be the 17 of Jarvis Sawtile back on the lead lap. And the 99, I guess they may just be out of tires down in that 99 crew. But new front row, the 17 down on the bottom side. Bob Eldred, 2 tires once again. He's going to restart on the outside. Green flag here at New Smyrna.
Green flag is out, back side-by-side racing, coming to the line through 1 and 2. The battle for the lead heats up as we have the 13 and the 45 on the outside, but we have been talking about that 45 machine. He has been dominant throughout the season, now poking his nose into it. That had to have been a two-tire stop there, Ash.
Absolutely, it was. And another one to make mention of is the guy that technically got the lead right now. It's a tight one as a 13 still making battle on the outside, but Kyle Goodbout, who has kind of been around all season long, also making his way up to the front, and he's decided he's going to take point and lead a couple laps here.
It's going to be interesting to see what the 13 is able to do here of Eldred in the 45 of Biotti. We saw how dominant they were up front and how they were able to just pull away from the field. Now, what are they able to do? Now, they're mirrored back in a little bit of traffic here as we see the 17 leading the way with the 13 of Eldred and behind him, and that beautiful, just bright lime green 45 in tow in third. But it looks like the 45 Biotti is not having an easy time as Eldred did, Paul, getting through this traffic.
Yeah, we talk about that 45 car, J.D. Stockwell, quite a bit. He ran 3 of the 4 winter leagues we had here this past winter on VidaneTV, and you always see him in the top 5. You always see him in the top 10. No difference here tonight, Ashton. He's up on the podium. He's trying to get to the back bumper of the 13 of Bob Eldred, but, man, that 13 car, there's something special about that thing tonight.
There absolutely is. It's all the chrome, and you made mention about the bright colors on J.D. Stockwell's, and you said you see him in the top 5. You just see him. The car's bright enough. You just see him. It doesn't matter where he is. You see him. But back to the 13, who's, he's putting on a show. Bob Eldred has really turned it up. I mean, they made mention of it that, it's time to turn up the wick and get out there. And he's struggling a little bit with the 17 of Kyle Goodbout. And I wonder if Kyle was just, kind of hanging back and saving it, knowing that there was going to be there would probably be some late race cautions with things getting turned up and tires falling off, and now he's up point, and the 13's not having as much good luck on the outside or being able to pass the 17 as he was with the 45 of Casey Biotti.
I think what's really helping Goodbout in that 17 is the fact that I believe he took 4 tires the first time, and if he only took 2 this time, the 13's taken 2 twice. So he's either taken 1 aside or 2, and where he's on the original on another side. So I think that's really playing into Goodbout's hand right here, possibly with the 45 as well. If you're battling with a driver that's only changed tires twice, just 2 tires. But these 3, you could throw a blanket over these 3 as they battle it out, as you have Goodbout leading, you got Eldred second, and then you got J.D. Stockwell in third, Justin Prescott fourth, Casey Biotti in fifth, rounding out your top 5 here at Five Flags Speedway. This time around, 30 to go.
And right 2 spots behind Casey is Kyler Davis. So Casey's got some work to do. I know he's in the championship race and he's doing all he can. He looked like he was in a better position earlier on in this race, but after that pit stop, falling back to 5th. And Kyler Davis, sitting in 8th all race long, made up a position coming off of pit road. He's now in the hunt for 5th, so we're going to have to keep an eye on those 2, as Davis does have the points lead coming into tonight, and Casey's trying to take that away from him.
Looks like this might become a 4-car battle, as that 4th place car is starting to creep up, slowly catching this pack. It makes you think maybe the 17 has them rolling at a little slower pace than what we saw when the 13 and the 45 are battling side by side for the lead. This is some great action here. Here, Five Flags is known for some hard wrecks, some action, but these guys are running super clean, as we do see Prescott starting to barely tag along, Paul, at the tail end of this lead pack.
Indeed, we are. I'm still impressed with that 13 car in Ashton. I think you hit it right on the head. There's a lot of chrome. There, you can see a lot of different colors in that chrome yellow on the side of that race car. Pardon me, on the number 13. And we saw on Beati, he's got some chrome too, but I think there's twice as much on the 13 car, so I think he's got twice as much extra horsepower.
We talk about it almost every week that stickers and prettier stickers add more horsepower for sure.
Yeah, you know what?
Each of the VidaneTV stickers adds 5 horsepower. I keep trying to tell Wes to let me get a couple on the windshield of his car, but
maybe that's why I keep on blowing up my Cavaliers. All the stickers that are on it, man. All that horsepower keeps on sending that 2.2 through the roof. But nonetheless, man, this is great to watch. We have 25 to go. We have a quarter to go here in this race at the Five Flag Speedway Championship night. Again, your leader is Kyle Goodbout with Bob Eldridge sitting second. JD is third with Prescott sitting fourth. About 3/4 of the second back is fifth and sixth and on back. But we have a great battle here. Now we're coming down to 20 to go. At what point does the 13 start to turn it up? If he has anything, as he bounces off the wall, as I was going to say, if he has anything left. But it looks like he's already pushing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he made it to the max there. He was pushing it, and he's already pushing it. I love that entrance though. That high entrance allows him to arc that center, a little different than what Goodbout is doing in front of him. Just a different style, and he could be looking ahead at the lap car already and kind of making those plans as we go on board with the bright yellow gloves, the bright yellow shoes, and the suit. Bob Eldred not sawing at the wheel as much as we saw earlier, but he's certainly a little loose on the entry, able to really turn it down to the bottom, and then just lets it float up to the top. That exit is really smooth for this racetrack.
The one thing that concerns me is here in 1 and 2, he's holding it to the bottom a little bit further than our leader is, which may be, scrubbing those tires a little bit more, but he seems to have the line down. But I think now we're coming to 19 to go. If you're not seeing any difference on the ticker, when it comes to your difference, I think you start having to do a little bit of soul searching, try to find some real estate, try to change up your lane just to see what you can do to catch the leader, because what he's doing right now isn't quite doing it yet, Paul, but man, he ain't giving up.
yeah, and it took him a couple of laps to kind of shake the cobwebs there. We saw the 13 slap the outside wall there. A little bit more damage there on the right front of the number 13. It looks like it might have cost him maybe a half car length, maybe 2. But you can see he's still trying to track down our leader right now. Yeah, big slide there from the 13. That's going to be big for that 45 car there of JD Stockwell. He's going to see that. He sees it as a mistake. You can already tell he's going to try and capitalize on that.
It does look like it, but again, the 13 machine has only taken 2 tires this entire race. He's yet to have a 4-tire stop. Now, if we get a late race caution, which can happen, you're really gambling here. I don't see anybody staying out. But do you do the 2-tire strategy as well? As you see, we have a little bit of a lap traffic coming back up here. Let's see how Kyle Goodbout is able to get through it. Everybody gets through it fine, it looks like, as I believe that might be the number 38 machine. I'm not too sure there, but he got out of the way of everybody. So it looks like that right now he's set pace, Paul. The Kyle Goodbout has set pace. He's pulled out to a bit of a lead here. He is right about a half-second lead and growing here on the 13 of Bob Eldred, as next time around will be 13 to go.
You mentioned a late race caution, which we've seen a couple times this year with the Fast1 late models. You say everybody's going to come down pit road. I'd be the oddball that stays out. We've only got 13 laps. Try and catch me in 13 laps and pass me clean.
You know what? That's not a bad strategy, as we see the 45 of JD Stockwell working his way underneath the 13. Looks like those 2 tires might be biting him now. You see him fighting that wheel coming off of 3 and 4. I think he's worn out the rubber on that machine, as we still see Stockwell trying to get around him. But if we've seen anything in this race, that Bob Eldred ride and that 13 can ride that outside. But Stockwell a little too strong for him coming off the corner here with 12 to go.
Yeah, those left side tires are probably done. They've probably had enough and want to come off the race car, but the strategy certainly was a good one. It kept him up there, and he still could end up with a podium finish. So as much as he's dropping back, at the same time, JD Stockwell is on a mission. He's found a little bit of extra speed, and with 10 to go, his last lap was a little bit quicker than the leader. So that's something to keep an eye on. He's got 10 laps to track the leader down.
He was a 10th faster that past lap. He's got a little bit to go, though. There's not many laps to go. We're at 9 to go. You're going to need to make up more than a 10th right now. So, we got one spinning coming off of 2. Did he save it? He did. That was our 5th place machine. Actually, that may have been, oh, shoot. That looks like it possibly was it Beatty? It might have been Beatty. I'm not too sure, but we had one go around, possibly the 38 machine of Tyler Cahoon. But with the caution is out, ladies and gentlemen, caution is out here on the track at Five Flag Speedway with only 8 to go. We talked about the possibility of a late race caution. Here it is. Now, boys, do you take 2? Do you take 4? Do you stay out? Ashton, I think you've already made up your mind.
I've already made up my mind. I'm telling my crew, I've unplugged my radio. I'm not talking to my crew chief. My car chief doesn't need to know anything. My spotter doesn't need to talk to me. There's 7 to go. I'm staying out.
With me, I'm here in the production trailer. And Ashton, you and I have run a couple of races together. But Wes, you and I have run many, many races together. You know as well as I do, my pit strategy, I'd probably go out there and change the front tires.
Yeah. I could see you taking the wedge bar and putting like a marshmallow on it and trying to roast it over a fire. So I'm not too sure if I would trust any of your calls here, but this is what we would call the nitty gritty. I think this time around, the pit road should be open. So let's see what happens as our leader in the 17 machine. Let's see if Kyle Goodbout takes that car down pit road. Here's the opening. It looks like he will not. The top 2, top 3, looks like almost everybody's staying out so far. I may be wrong on pit road being open. I don't think I am, though, but heck, I might be wrong. Depends when they got the green. If this was the first lap around, it should be open, but I may be wrong. But if I'm not, everybody said, hey, we got what we got. We're going to be restarting with 3 to go.
But at the
One
same
thing to
time,
keep in mind, these guys do. The 17 is going to get the free pass. I believe he's going to be able to rejoin the lead lap. Indeed, he is. Jarvis Sawtile in that 17 car. We only had the 2 sets of tires down on pit road. We had a couple of 2-tire stops, so maybe these guys not wanting to mix and match the sets, who knows? But Kyle Goodbout going to stay out front. Everybody came down. Everybody in the top 5, top 6 came down under that last caution 40 laps ago. And it looks like everybody in the top 5 took 2 tires. First guy with 4 tires going to be that 18 car of Caden Fisher back in 6th, the Triple Crown champion right behind him in the 88 car. That's going to be Tegan Atkins.
We are going to be restarting here with 3 to go. Your leader, Kyle Goodbout, can he hold off the hard-charging JD Stockwell, who will be on the outside? Then you have Bob Eldred, Justin Prescott, and Kyler Davis will be rounding out your top 5. You see the iRacing Mustang takes that hard left turn, and we are green here at Five Flags. 3 to go, going into 1, and look at this. Look, JD Stockwell tries to clear him, but he can't go for 2.
Goodbout holding on with that 17 car. They touched up in front. JD Stockwell got a little bit sideways. He holds on to it. 2 to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. We are getting ready to crown ourselves here a winner. Goodbout down on the bottom side, touching fenders with that 45 of Stockwell side by side going into 3 and 4. They get it sorted out. They're 2 wide for second. Third.
He finally clears them, boys, as we see the white flag is out. Can Kyle Goodbout hold off Stockwell? Oh, no, we got one spinning hard into the wall out of turn 2. We stay green. We took the white flag already. They're side by side for the lead. Can Stockwell get him? He pushes up the track, makes contact with Goodbout. He clears him off of turn 4. Your winner, JD Stockwell.
Mentioned his name once, maybe twice, all race long, and the 45 car going to come home with the W. Kyle Goodbout leading a bunch of laps. He's going to come home second. How about Kyler Davis in that 6 car? He's going to come home third. We're going to talk to our top 3 finishers and, oh, by the way, our champion here. But man, oh man, we'll take a quick peek here, Ashton, at the final results here. What a banger of a race to close out the season.
What a way to finish off the season. Great job by the top 5 drivers. I know a wild finish there. We saw the 0-4 of Justin Prescott go around. JD Stockwell was sideways on the restart, almost thought himself clear, and ended up getting just a little bit of a bump. Great job by Kyle Goodbout to not completely take him out of the race. And then it turned back around. It went the other way, and I think JD Stockwell got on the throttle a little early on the center of that corner, and that's what pushed him up the racetrack. He didn't wreck anybody. It just opened up the door for Kyler Davis. Kind of stuck his nose in there at the last second, but nonetheless, what a great finish. JD Stockwell, Kyle Goodbout, Kyler Davis, who was sitting back in 8th all race long, decides to turn up the wick, come up and finish on the podium. And I believe it's unofficial, but I believe that also gives him the championship.
Indeed, it does. We'll get that confirmed here momentarily. We'll get that sticky note with all that information. But Wes, how long has it been since you've done a Victory Lane interview here on VidaneTV?
It's been a while, man. I felt like I was watching Bubba Pollard versus Stephen Nassie there coming to the line, except Stephen Nassie would have wrecked him and then whined about it. Good to see some hard racing there between JD Stockwell and Kyle Goodbout. Would love to interview our winner and champion.
Indeed, and I believe he's standing right next to you, JD Stockwell, in that 45 car.
JD, I don't know what you did on that final stop. You could fill us in on that, but you kept that car clean. You kept that car steady in the mid-pack until it counted. You slowly and methodically made your way through the field, made the right pit strategy to get yourself up front, made the last lap, last corner move. JD, walk us through your race.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good from the beginning. That first run had me disappointed a little bit. I kind of wore him out way too quick and went to the back, but we took 4, and I just rode around kind of as easy as I could without losing spots. And then that last one, me and my spotter, Aaron, were debating whether we wanted 4 or 2, and I said I wanted the track position, so give me 2, and I just kind of rode around, let people use up their tires. When I could, I went, and then I was there on the last lap, and what happened.
JD, you gained a lot of experience driving through this whole field in this 150 laps, kind of seeing what lines were going to work, what worked best for you for your entry and your exit, watching the other guys in front of you, watching their strategy. Did going into making that call of 2 tires, did the other drivers that did that earlier in the race, did that play into that decision at all?
I mean, it started to, but I was pretty sure the 13 there, when him and the 45 were battling the stop before that, I thought that he might have took 2. So I figured I would be pretty good, and I'd just barely use my left, so I was thinking that I'd be fine with just 2 at that point.
Now, JD, with that restart with 3 to go, walk us through what was going through your mind. We saw that high line was working for quite a few guys. However, you were able to tuck in, get below Kyle Goodbout in that 017 machine, and just barely give him a nudge, and that's all it took to get him up the track. Walk us through how that last 3 laps was going through your mind.
Yeah, I mean, coming to the box, I was pretty much just saying that I was gonna have a good finish and be on the top on the podium, and not like wreck anything, not doing anything stupid. Like that was just in my mind. I wasn't gonna not be on the podium. But then, yeah, I just got a really good start. I got the green time perfect and tried to get down into 1, but guess it was tight. And I tried to fight on the outside, and I realized I wasn't going to win on the outside, and I knew I didn't have any control from the outside. So when I got the chance, I got down, and then kind of just, I don't know, I didn't think anything was dirty there. I just moved him a little bit and won the race. Kind of what should be done. No one wrecked. No one spun. Nothing happened.
JD, it's been a eventful season for you to be able to wrap up this season with a win. I'm sure you've had some highs and some lows, and be able to end it on the high that you just did. Now the season has come to an end. What can you take from what this season and the experience did for you?
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's kind of just a thing where you learn, and then you learn more, and you don't stop learning. So I feel like racing with all these guys, I've gotten definitely better throughout the year and started winning more and being better throughout the year. And I think it's just about racing with people that are always better than you, and then you kind of pick it up from them and see what they're doing and learn all the little tricks. And I feel like that's kind of what I take away is all the little stuff. And I feel like a lot of it's the long races here too. I've never been good with saving tires. I feel like I've learned a lot of that here too.
Man, you put on a show. You did it methodically. You did it clean. You know, a little bump and run there at the end, but that's short track racing. Nothing egregious there, but you definitely put on a show for the fans. Just to wrap this up here, JD, we know that in the real racing world and sim racing world, there you got fans, you got supporters, you may even have some sponsors. Now is the time for you to shout out whoever you would like. The floor is yours.
Oh yeah, huge thanks to Heat Race Heroes, Skylar, Aaron for being my spotter. He's been my spotter all year long. He's pretty good at it. Makes some pretty good calls most of the time, other than when they're not good. But yeah, Skylar, Aaron, Keegan, my mom, my dad, Doug's Auto Body. He's my sponsor in real life. He does everything and beyond for me. So big thanks to him. I guess thanks to them for putting this on. Thanks to Vidane for streaming these every week so that people can see. And yeah, I guess we'll hopefully be back next year for a good one.
JD Stockwell, you put on a hell of a show all season long, including tonight, getting it done. Only needed 3 laps to get it done. Congratulations on the win again and a successful season.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your winner tonight in the 45 machine, that bright lime green JD Stockwell. Now, Ashton is just about 50 feet down from me. He is right now next to the 17 pilot of Kyle Goodbout. Ashton, how's the head there on Kyle? Is it blowing through the roof or what's going on?
No, he's back here. He's out of the car and getting a sip of water. That's a long race for these guys, especially a long race that we made mention. You're going all out all the time, Kyle. Solid finish. You had it under control there, and then just some last lap craziness. Talk us through what was going through your point of view.
I think Kyle's having some minced words right now. He is he's yelling at possibly the spotter of JD Stockwell for telling him that he was clear. I'm not too sure yet. Well, wait a second.
Oh, there he is.
I was muted.
There we
Sorry,
go.
but
What?
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it goes back to that restart. You know, we were all supposed to go on green, and I went on green, and I don't 100% sure the car above me did not go on green. So you know, it is what it is. Then just kind of didn't really even get a chance at it. You know, I got crossed over after I moved him because I felt like he jumped it, and I'm gonna stand by that. And I know it's a video game, but you know, I like to win, and yeah.
Absolutely, and nonetheless, still a second place finish is a good finish for 5 flags for a track that is so wide open, and that can really beat up cars. I mean, tire strategy was a big deal tonight. What was your strategy going into it, and did it change during the race?
Yeah, I didn't really have a strategy to start off, so I kind of just played it by ear. And with the track temp being 145 or whatever it was really free, so you had to take it easy on that right rear. And on that first pit stop, realized my left rear was around 60 maybe. I don't remember what it was, so I decided to take 4, and then that last restart, figured we'd probably take 2 would be good enough to make it, since my right rear or my left rear was still 82, so we'd have plenty of drive off and drive through the rest of the race.
Absolutely, and I mean, again, a great night for you. And we made mention of the sponsors on the car, and let us know who helps you get here to and from the racetrack.
Mountain Maples, Woodstock Firewood, Hilton Electric, RSB Chassis, RCAM Setup Shop, my family, mom, brother, sister, my other brother Tyler, who owns my real life car, and yeah.
Absolutely, and the season's all and done for this time, and we're already making mentions of next year. So hopefully we'll see you back at the track next year. And until then, good luck with the real life racing, and have fun.
Thank you.
Well, Paul, the last interview, you know, it always seems to be the most exciting one because you're with Kyler Davis, our champion.
The champ is here Indeed. Kyler, I'm not even going to ask any other question other than what's going through your mind right now, brother.
Honestly, not a whole lot. I knew what I had to do at the beginning of the race, and unfortunately, Casey ruined himself moving cars. Especially the 77. I knew they were going to be an issue getting closer to the end, so I just stayed as far back as I could and let it play it out. Knowing if I was at least in the top 8, and even if Casey won, there was no way he was winning it. So I was just kind of along for the ride. I don't even know, honestly, how I got up to third and finishing third. Like I said, I was just riding it out.
Solid season here. Came in with an 18-point cushion over second place Casey Viade, and we saw him early on. He was leading a bunch of laps in that 45 car and got shuffled on back with one of those pit stops. We saw a lot of different strategies here this evening on pit road between 2-tire, 4-tire, no tire. Did you have any kind of plan coming into this one as to what you were going to do on pit road?
Not when we first started. Before that first caution we had, we reeled in cars. I think it was me, Justin Prescott, and Bob Eldred. We ran down, 4 or 5 cars, within 5 laps, just because everybody was falling off. And we were hanging on pretty good. We ended up taking 4 tires on that first pit stop just because left sides were pretty low, knowing that would be the only time we take lefts. And it seemed to work out pretty well.
Absolutely, and came home with the podium, like you said. And that 6 car has been fast all season long. Got to give you the opportunity to thank anybody that gets you to and from the virtual racetrack and anybody that might be out there watching.
Yeah, a big thanks to Kaysen and Fast1 Motorsports for, putting this league on for us and, all the other title sponsors for the other races. Big thanks to Mind Warp Designs, which is Bob Eldred, actually. A big thanks to Bob for subbing for me a couple races in, one I couldn't make, and I think he ended up podium for me. So it was a big help from him, and, we appreciate everybody that, especially you guys doing this broadcast.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure to call your guys' races here throughout the season. Looking forward to next season as well. Kyler Davis going to come home with the championship trophy and a solid 3rd place effort here tonight in Ashton. We've been following these guys all season long. It's been a great season, putting a cap in it. And we know, you and I both know, and a lot of the fans know as well, these guys race in real life for the most part. So they're getting ready to hang up the old sim wheel and pulling out the real racing wheel.
Yeah, it's that time of year that things are starting to shift around here in Florida, getting ready to do some speed weeks racing, and we're getting guys. The cars are slowly starting to pop up on the social medias, whether they're building them, whether they're finishing, or whether everybody's just in that lull of wanting to get back to the racetrack and smell the race fuel and the burning tires. So it's that time of year. Everybody's getting ready to do it. You're already about to start doing it, and I think I think it was a great season all in all. We had that lull at the starting of the season. We got all that figured out. These guys knocked the rust off, and they put on a heck of a show for the last race.
Absolutely, and got a couple of races coming up. Well, in a couple of weeks. It's crazy to see the emptiness in the VidaneTV schedule, but like you made mention, we're doing some real racing action here in the entire month of February. I'll actually be down here in the state of Florida. I'm going to Alltech Speedway tomorrow night for some dirt racing. Going to be at Auburndale Speedway for a few weeks after that. Potentially the Daytona 500, Monday Night Raw in Charlotte. It's going to be an adventure. Be sure to keep up with us on the social media apps. Now we do have that new Instagram. Follow VidaneTV. Started throwing some content up on that, and we're going to be filling that up with some real racing stuff here in the coming weeks as well. But that's going to do it here for us tonight. We're going to thanks Wes for the spare bedroom or the production trailer, as it were, this evening, and joining us here on the call here tonight. We will catch you on the flip side, and when we do,
We'll be doing it live.